Foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
facts, boots,
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Absolute Batman Annual.
Welcome into another episode of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by the muscle man himself, Mr. Mike.
Ooh, I think that could not be further from the truth, but all right.
Well,
I'll take it.
There's a reason you're more muscular today, and we'll get to it here in a second. I for some reason feel the need to be clever.
It's
with
Muscles
all my
Day.
interests. It is Muscles Day. No, welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes, a podcast where I, Zach, usually tell Mike about a comic book story or character or history, just something from the world of comics is usually what we dive into. I'm Zach. I'm the massive nerd of the group, and that's Mike. He's also a nerd, but not as big of one as me.
Big nerd, but just in other areas. Yeah. I do kind of look like I ought to be singing whipping posts though, like I'm covering Who songs or something with this microphone.
Have we talked about this? And this might bother some. I think that the Who, smidge overrated.
Oh, you think?
aside from CSI theme songs.
Yeah, well, that's
not necessarily their fault, but
the CSI theme song is literally just that's it. That's all of it.
It's just yells. They just take different Roger
or anything.
They just take different Roger Daltrey yells, and that's the CSI theme song.
Well, this is also a band that decided they were doing a going away tour like 3 times.
Yeah, that's true too.
So yeah, when the Who starts talking about the our music is this or that, oh, shut up! You're just in it for a paycheck. That's exactly what
I don't know. There was Tommy. Tommy was a pinball wizard. I think I heard. So we're not here to talk about the Who. For the month of November, what we've been doing.
Is that a Who podcast?
It's not. I should have waited before we were like 500 or 400 or 300 or however many episodes in we are to tell you that we're not a Who podcast, but there should
be a podcast out there, and there probably is, where it's just a physician covering Who's music, and it's just called Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yes. It's at least good for a bit. I don't know about a whole podcast. Maybe after like episode 5, you're like, hey, today, Bab O'Reilly. And you're like,
again, 3rd track on the 2nd
album. So what we're doing for November is we are covering a list of it's a month to give thanks. So I have specifically hunted down stories that we haven't covered from creators, artists, writers that I love. Now we have covered.
You love, yes.
This absolutely. Is exactly, and Mike is nice enough to just let me go ahead and do this.
Oh, please! I love it.
But there's stories that we have covered.
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
I kind of want to put you here. I'm going to put you on the other side, just so it looks like you're looking.
Because I'm looking over there. You know, the problem is my laptop is right here. Right? Yeah. But I like to sit like this so I can see the monitor.
That's fine. But so it'll naturally.
I'm always like, it's like we're doing point counterpoint or something.
I got to turn, but see, you're not here. So you turn and look the complete opposite way to be like, there you go. That was perfect.
Audio fans love us.
Exactly. Anyway, so we have covered some of these writers before. Today's we absolutely have, and we're actually going to recover a story I brought up before because I think it was kind of buried the last time I covered it, so it just makes sense to cover it with this one, and you'll kind of see why when we get to it. I think I dipped out for a bit, but then what I have for later in the week is something and a writer artist combo that we have not covered at all that I absolutely love. So we'll have some new stuff, fresh stuff in here too. But today, before I show you what we're going to talk about, I'll tell you who we're going to talk about. And that is a artist and writer by the name of Daniel Warren Johnson, who we have covered on the show before. We covered his series Do a Powerbomb, which was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
You'll know, here's the thing, and I love it, is there's a lot of people, like every time we cover Alex Ross, it's Alex Ross because it's that painted kind of style, and he has the same. A lot of artists are like that, where I can look and that's part of the beauty of having, I think, in comics, a favorite artist. So we've talked about with Kirby, we've talked about George Perez has with Wonder Woman. It's like everything, all these artists have, like, you can tell that's who did it, and you can become a fan of an artist too. I have always liked, I don't know where it's going. I have always liked just the, like,
oh my God, all the blood went out of my face. Look at that.
You did. You got very pale and white. The kineticness, I don't know if that's how to describe it. You're more of the artist than I am.
No, I would very much say kinetic is a good word for that. Yeah, just the kind of scratchy whatever.
Exactly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on our main story first, and the story that we've covered before second, but I'll at least tell you the story that I first was introduced to Daniel Warren Johnson. I've now read a lot of his work since then. Multiple times. I keep trying to cover Wonder Woman Dead Earth, which we'll cover. We have do a Powerbomb. I'm reading through. I know when we interviewed T.S. Luthor, I'm working on finishing up Murder Falcon, which is absolutely amazing. And I don't want to tell you about it because we will cover it because it's so right up your alley. Yeah. I feel like, well, here, I'll just tell you the premise real quick. It's a guy who summons
murder, and it's done by a falcon.
It actually is. No, it's a guy who essentially can summon this giant bird to kill and defeat aliens that are trying to invade our world, but he summons them and he plays them through metal. It's a complete like music. Yeah. It's great. It's okay. It's great. Right. And that's the beauty of it too. Is
Batman
I always feel like
metal.
No, that was different. No, they embrace it wholeheartedly here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But the first story I kind of stumbled upon Daniel Warren Johnson was in 2021 in a Superman red and blue, which we have covered before.
Yeah.
Story. It's a small 8-page story, and I'm going to cover it at the end of what we're going to cover first. We have 2 Daniel Warren Johnson stories to get to today, both very short. The one that we're covering next, and Mike, some of this art, I have the digital copy here, and some of it I'm going to just go through quickly, not to try to like skim over it. It's all fantastic, but the story we're covering is literally like 2 weeks, 3 weeks old. So I'm just trying to, go out and get it if you can.
Long.
This one has, but it's already made a lot of waves. And the story that we're going to talk about.
Is it good waves, bad waves?
I think it's good waves. Some people don't like it. We'll get into it. We'll see.
A lot of people don't like it, huh?
I don't know if it's a lot, but there's some people.
Okay. All right.
You'll see when we get in there. It's very much okay. What do you remember? Well, I'll show you first. It is the Absolute Batman Annual that came out on, what was that? If Halloween was the 31st, I think it came out October 29th. So we're literally like, a little over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we've covered the first Absolute Batman issue when it came out, when they released it. Man, it's been about 1.5 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Or maybe a little over a year, but Absolute Batman is still going along. And like, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's been very good. Like, people really enjoy it. It's almost on issue 15. Same with Absolute Wonder Woman. People tend to think that I love how Mike's
You're fine. Let's go right ahead. Just keep going. Pretend like nothing's happening.
Oh, how Absolute Wonder Woman has been, everybody seems to love that a lot too. Same with Absolute, like all the Absolute titles for the most part, people are enjoying. Especially one that we're going to get to too, as some Dennis Camp and Absolute Martian Manhunter has been really good. But there's some more stuff that he's been working on that I want to cover. Anyway, I'm getting on.
How much better that is
for you? Yeah,
I changed my camera.
You did.
I did. But I was listening.
Yeah. Okay. But so our Absolute Batman Annual here, we're only going to focus on the Daniel Warren Johnson story from it. I think there's a total of 3 stories throughout it. Annuals are usually a little bit bigger, so they have multiple stories. And it's usually, I don't know if we've covered how annuals work, but and you worked at a store, so you probably understand this a little bit more better. But during a printing run, there's usually 4 weeks or 4 release days in a month. So everybody, or every Wednesday. So you plan out your titles like that. Certain months, I think there's 1 a year, maybe others a year. When there's 5, you need to have something to fill that spot, because you're not just going to have random things there. It throws it off. So that's where you usually get annuals, to fill that void of them not having like the new title that week or something.
your artists and writers for one more week. Yeah.
No,
Or
yeah.
for one more release. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Or you're just like, hey, why don't you go ahead and just like double book what you're working right now, so we have one to release now and one to release in 2 weeks when we, have the
Yeah.
So that's usually when annuals tend to fall. Sometimes they're kind of like one-off stories in a sense, where they happen in the universe. Not all the time. A lot of times, or I say a lot of times, sometimes they use these annuals to like have an event over all the different annuals, or they tie into the main storyline somehow. But I do want to give you just a brief recap, Mike, from what we've talked about Absolute Batman, just to kind of bring up the facts that we covered that you would need to know. It's not a lot here.
Right.
It's just, this is a different Bruce Wayne in a sense of he is he and his friends, which ends up turning into his rogues gallery, but he and his friends are a bunch of just like, 20-something-year-olds living in Gotham. That's not a great place. He works as like a civil engineer. Bruce Wayne does. He's not rich at all. He doesn't have, money. He's just a big, brooding, muscly beast of a guy who, at least when we start Absolute, not both of his parents are dead. Just his dad is.
Oh, okay.
His mother's still alive too, but his dad has a very big impact on his life. And the whole first story arc, which revolves around Black Mask, it also tells the story then of like there's a event that happens while they're on a field trip to the zoo. Does any of this sound familiar? Do you remember when we were talking about this?
Not really.
Well, okay.
I know that we
go back and watch our Absolute Batman episode.
Yeah, we did a little bit of the Absolute Batman, but I do not remember the fact that he was not rich and his parents were both alive.
Well, only one of them is. His dad ends up like saving all the kids on a field trip while they're yeah. But still, so but so this is a different this is a Batman of the people, if you will.
Okay.
And I'm just telling you all this before we get into Che Batman.
Che Batman.
Che
Guevara.
Yeah.
Che Batman.
So what we're going to cover then, and I've talked about it here, and we'll get into it, is Daniel Warren Johnson's story of the Absolute Batman Annual. And it opens up, and it's...
Excuse me, what's it called?
Absolute Batman Annual #1, or Absolute Batmanual.
There it is. Thank you.
It's the Absolute Batmanual.
It's the Absolute Batman.
Yeah. So our story opens up, and it's a young Bruce with his dad sitting there reading a paper. And the headline, it's the Gotham Globe, and the headline just talks about that there is an extremist bombing. Mm-hmm. And Bruce is kind of looking at it, and he's like, why, very much like a child would ask, well, why did they do that, Dad?
Right.
Like, why would anybody do that? And Thomas just tells him, he's like, I really wish that I knew, but I don't. I'm just kind of one person in a way, and I don't know how to fix the world, is what he tells him. But I do know that like I'm really good at teaching. And so that what I'm able to do and what I hope to do is like prepare my students, one day for when they have to go out and, into the world, they can make a difference with their life. Like I can only control what I can do, but I hope that, I'm preparing them in kind of the same way that I hope that I'm preparing you in a way for your future. Yeah. And he's like, he goes, oh, so maybe someday, like one of my students won't make the same mistakes that these people made. Sure. And he's like, so what about you? And then this is the very first page, the very second page to kind of tell you what we're getting into here is Batman, what will you do?
Wow.
Now, yeah. So we open up our story here with
Slaughter.
Slaughter Swamp is a place in DC. It is of it's I think it has some kind of like mythical magicness to it, at least in other DC stories.
Well, yeah, somebody allowed it to be named Slaughter Swamp.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that it's a place, where it's a DC location for a bunch.
It's not an actual swamp.
I mean, I think it's like it's a city. I mean, they might have a swamp attached to it. I don't know too much about the outline. Right. Yeah. But Bruce drives by what looks like an encampment of sorts, where like a migrant encampment,
right?
Where everybody's standing around like a barrel, and there's a priest there that's kind of helping all the migrant workers there, like feed them and take care of them and stuff. And Bruce finally pulls up at this pawn shop, and he asks the guy outside, he's like, hey, what's up with everything going on out there when I drove into town? And the guy tells him, Oh, I'm sorry. That's after. Well, still, he gets these weapons. He's here to pick up these weapons, and he tells him like, "Sorry, long drive from Gotham." And the guy's like, "Come on, city boy, let's do this." And he goes inside, and it's all this ammo and stuff that he's there to pick up, because this is, poor Batman. He can't make all with Wayne Tech stuff in Gotham. He has to go out and buy it from an
Yeah.
actual arms
Yeah.
dealer and stuff. And he asks the guy when he's here's everything you requested, and he does ask him. He's like, non-lethal. He's like, it's less lethal. And he's like, okay, I guess that'll work. Like he's fine,
Less people.
like it's kind of what you do, limited resource of who you can get stuff from. He's like,
Oh,
okay.
sure. Yeah.
And he goes to pay him, and the guy's like, I should know better than to ask about this. And Bruce just tells him, I've got my needs. And he goes, I do too. And he just takes the money from him like it's a, just a transaction.
Is this like if Batman were the Punisher?
Are you talking about this story or Absolute Batman?
Well, I mean, this story very much feels like a Punisher story or something to me so far.
I get where you're going, I think, in the feel, but I don't know. There's more to it, I think, when we get here.
All right.
And so he gets ready to leave, and as Bruce is leaving, he kind of tells him, he's like, hey, by the way, what's all that encampment that I saw coming in? And the guy there tells him, oh, some giant company came in with a lot of money, big promises. They had this giant construction project they were working on. And 3 months into it, they just got up and left. Everything dried up. Some people came here looking for better chances, and they're just not here.
Sure.
He's like, that's just how it is. And about that time, he hears yelling. Bruce hears yelling outside the pawn shop. And he's like, what in the world? And he goes to head out there. And the guy goes, leave that alone, son. Nothing you can do. And as he goes out, we see people wearing pig masks that are harassing the some of the migrants that were there from the camp, as they're covering their faces there, and they're beating up on this woman and child. So Bruce obviously steps in to break it up, and try to save the mother and child. And in that time, the pawn shop owner comes and whacks him over the back of the head with the pipe wrench and tells him should have listened, city boy. And as he's getting himself up, he tells the family, Bruce tells the family to run away. And we're introduced to this guy there that you see in the black shirt. He's, I guess, the leader of our group. His name's DJ.
Well, he's got a neck tattoo, so he's evil.
He does. Well, you see the symbol. It matches pretty much the symbol that we got from the first part. I didn't know when to talk about this, Mike. So I think I'll just talk about it now, because I listened to...
Your bodies are ever changing, and you'll grow into them.
But I listened to a podcast interview that Daniel Warren Johnson did on comic book counseling, I think is the name of the podcast. I just want to give it a credit there. And talked about this a lot in the creation of this. And one of the questions he was asked, and I'm just going to talk about it because we've talked about it before in our show, of how Nazis have always been big in comics. They've been a big villain forever, which, it would make sense. We started during a lot of these during World War I. So, but
sure.
And they asked him about that. Obviously, that was what you're going for there. But did you feel they asked him, did you feel one of those sense of it was needed, or that, or you didn't even have to waste your art doing that? And he talked or if DC told him hey, let's do something else. And he answered this question, and I found it very interesting. And I thought you'd appreciate this too, where he was like, we're in a place where people kind of know if I did it that, what it's supposed to be. I think people are smart enough to get it. I don't have to sit there and go and illustrate it and draw it out. People can, and I could appreciate that a bit of letting us, because I do. I know exactly, we do.
Sure.
But it's better than not being bashed over the head with it. It's a great interview, and it was some great insight into this. But anyway, so DJ starts kicking up on Bruce. They're all just kind of beating up on Bruce as the family gets away. And the priest from the beginning then comes and kind of lays over his body to stop the others from kicking him. And they're like, what are you doing? Oh, Father Peters, get out of here. One of the guys in the pig mouth yells. And the priest actually calls him out by name. And he's like, I've known you since Jeffrey, I've known you before you could walk. This isn't you. And it kind of shocks the kid. And he's just and he takes his mask off, and they all just kind of ride off instead. Yeah. Well, the priest takes Bruce back to his house, and he kind of tells him like, "Hey, I hope you don't mind, but like the nearest hospital is like at least over an hour or so away.
Mhm.
Like this is the best shot you had. I just tried to heal you up the best that I could." And he's like, "They
Priest
really
also
got you
has
good."
that giant scar over his
Over his
left
eye.
eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that comes from, but
Okay. All right.
it's not given. This is again, it's kind of just a one-off story. So Father
Sure.
Peters adds is an important part to this story, but not necessarily.
Yeah, I got you.
But he's like, they got got us good, I should say. And Bruce goes, "It's not going to happen again." And the priest just kind of shakes. He's like, "All right," like he doesn't, stop. He's like, "All right." And then Bruce notices a picture. This picture is kind of important. I don't know if you've noticed it before too. And he looks and he's like, "Is that you?" And it's like peaceful protesting of the father. They're like linked arm in arms with other people as they're marching against something.
Yeah.
And he tells him like, "Yeah, a long time ago, I made a lot of friends doing that. All of us chasing peace. It's a never ending journey, it seems." And then that's when Bruce asks, he's like, "The tattoo on that dude's neck, like, what does it mean?" And so Father Peters tells him like, "Well, 6 months ago, some outsider, he came in and I don't really know much about him except that he's been filling like the holes and hearts of our boys and men, man." He's like, he gives them this dark place to go to. And Bruce is like, "Well, they said that something's going to happen soon."
He's been filling what?
Their heads and the holes in their hearts with something dark.
Okay. I swear you said he's been filling their holes and hearts.
No, they're sorry.
I'm just
I might
like,
have.
I don't.
No.
I mean, I know it's a priest.
The
But,
holes in their hearts. The priest is telling Bruce that
yes,
6 months ago, this outsider came in
some guy. Yeah.
and
I
started
got you.
all this hate speech and
He's
just
been
like
filling their holes.
getting
Yep.
everybody all riled up and angry.
Sure.
And that's when Bruce is like, "Well, they were talking about something big happening tonight." And the pastor's like, "Yeah, they plan to run everybody out of that encampment town, like camp out of town by any means necessary." And as soon as Bruce hears that, like he gets up and he grabs his jacket to like head out. And the pastor's like, "Where are you?" And he just tells him to stay here. And he goes out and realizes they've burnt his truck after they've torched it.
Jeez.
And he's like, "I couldn't save it." And he's like, "It doesn't matter. But what is still in there is the case that's in the back of like the weapons and stuff that he's able to grab out of the back of the truck." And he goes, "Where are you going? Like, what are you going to do?" And Batman just flat out tells him, "Sometimes peace isn't an option."
Well, that has to be his suit, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
But he does have he does have one of the things he purchased earlier that I'm assuming has to be somewhere in there too.
Right.
But we get the encampment of where DJ's there riling everybody up, like, baseball bat in hand, everybody there in mask. And even the police show up. And they're like, "DJ, we can't let you do this." And then all of a sudden, they all just start laughing. And the police put on masks themselves and join next to DJ. And he's like, "Good to have you guys here. Now let's clean this town." And they point down to the encampment that they're about to go down to.
Yikes.
So, and say, "Oh, that's the best part of the whole thing." So, and I will say, it doesn't do it justice in the digital version about what we're about to see because it's a full page spread in the actual annual.
Yeah.
But as they're going through clearing everything out, being just absolutely awful as they do all this. DJ's like, "Do you see us? Do you see me? I am the new truth. I am the new power, pure power." And he goes, and that's the thing too, is he even talked about, like, what he's doing down there. He doesn't get it. He doesn't finish saying the words.
Yeah.
And he even talks about like the panel. He totally, like, he drew part of it off. He's like, "But you know what's going."
Yeah.
And he can't get it out before Batman just straight up.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so it's very kinetic. Like, I don't,
one big panel like that. That's
it is.
cool.
It's straight. Yeah. It's a big splash page between the two pages. And then Batman just starts cleaning house. So there's one of the guys from the pawn shop, like, ends up pulling a gun on that kid, which was a bad mistake. And so, like, here's the thing too that I did like and listen to him, Daniel Warren Johnson, describe the art is like, he's like, sometimes he's like, if you watch like a fight or even like a wrestling match or something and they throw it, when it makes impact, like at the very right time, the face does get like, it gets smushed. He's like,
Oh,
I was
sure.
just playing with that. He
Yeah.
goes, does the art style match the story? Maybe not so much. He goes, but that's what I was playing with, and that's what I was going with. So these guys aren't like, that's the thing, is they should all the way it's drawn, they
I
should
don't
very well
see
be
anything out
dead.
of place.
No, I don't, but it's like, it's just very over the top. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think with this Batman being as big and strong like
Yes.
this, it just all fits.
I expect it to be over the top, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like you see his whole face just kind of caved in around the knee, but he's
Yeah.
not dead. He's still alive.
Right.
Or the cop that's got slammed, like he's still alive.
Yeah.
And then Batman comes to DJ and he like shoots at him, or DJ does, and he dodges it. And then Batman just starts wailing away on DJ to where Father Peters comes back again and stops and lays over him, and he's stopping him.
Mhm.
And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, this won't fix it.
Mm. This is
He's
a
like,
very violent
it
Batman.
is. Huh?
It's a very violent Batman. Yeah.
Oh, I should say this story takes place, honestly, before the very first issue of Absolute Batman that we covered. So this is a very young
Okay.
Absolute Batman too.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell with something else that's about to happen. And Father Peters tells him, I don't know how to make it better, but I know, he goes, I only know how to not make it worse. And this is,
Mhm.
my God. He tells him, he goes, please, this isn't the way. And Batman tells him, this is my way.
What a beautiful work.
Oh,
right
the
there.
art. Yes.
Yikes.
I was lucky enough, if you go back, he also does on Friday nights, he like streams himself sometimes.
Oh, really?
It's called Friday with D-Dubs. And when he was working on the art for this, he wouldn't talk much, but he would just show himself drawing. And just to see the white page and the black and white for this it was so cool. Another thing
every drop of rain there looks threatening.
Oh, it does. And just his the way he shows everything.
Very good.
Then Batman, like everybody else leaves. They hightail it back to their like headquarters, and they're like, "Come on, he's coming after us!" And they're like, "What do you mean he's coming after us?" He's like, "He got like everybody is scared of Batman essentially, and everybody at the hideout is like, tell us what you mean. What's going on?" He's like, "Somebody came at us. Somebody huge." And I love the bottom because it's raining, and you get a thunder and light, or thunder and the lightning strike, and it's just like the Batman silhouette there.
Well, honestly, we haven't had this in a while. People being scared of Batman.
That's true.
We get into this whole thing where it's all the bad guys and stuff, but they've all got their own plans and they're all going to thwart Batman and all this kind of stuff. You don't get a whole lot of, dear God, it's a night demon coming after me kind of thing.
That's true. And
that's a lot that we said. We saw that reference to in the Michael Keaton version of Batman. Although he was 4'3", and then
Nolan a little bit.
We got some in the Pattinson.
Oh yeah, no, we for sure did in the Pattinson. I love the way they did that at the beginning, of where it's just the bat symbol, like in the sky, was like enough to
Yes. I like the criminals being afraid of Batman.
I do too.
I think just the street guys, the guys on the street, they should be afraid of this guy because he's just going to come out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So I don't know if you remember in the first one, this is kind of, because everything in Absolute Batman is a little bit, I feel like the way it's drawn over the top and big, but I kind of like it. So that is essentially what becomes his Batmobile in the comic. Yeah. But it makes sense now. He discovered this at the abandoned construction site then.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, all right.
It also makes sense he has no money.
That's true too. So hey, they're not using it. I'll go ahead and use this. Commandeer it.
Absolutely.
And so another giant 2-page spread of where he just barrels into their hideout with that. Takes the axe off of his chest, takes the flamethrower to everybody in there. Like he is so he comes in and he's beating everybody up, and one of the guys in there goes, "Get back, man. You can't do this to us. We're human beings." And that's where Batman tells him no. He's like, "You're roaches. Only one way to get rid of those."
Wow.
Yeah. And so he lights, he lights the room on fire. The flag burns. The hideout starts burning. And as he's kind of walking away,
He's
here comes.
absolutely right, though. He didn't have to mention Nazis because you get all of the symbolism, you get all the everything from all of that.
No,
Yeah,
and it's so
without giving them their day, you know.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so then like Father Peters walks up again.
Mhm.
And one of the guys that Batman just beat up is like down on the ground, like just like all hurt and in pain. He's like, it hurts. And he's like, I know, son. I know. And he's like, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Compassion is big to me and empathy is big to me,
Sure.
no matter what. And so, anyway,
You know who has a lot of compassion and empathy?
yeah,
Huh?
I don't know.
Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton has a
Oh.
lot of empathy.
She does. So,
She's a good person.
as he's doing that,
Yeah.
Batman asks him why.
Yeah.
And he tells him, like, you have your way and I have mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he goes back to like bandaging everybody up.
That is so strong down there. Just that orange background.
It is. And I'm sorry, I'm not done with this. The next story.
No, you're fine. It's just so impactful. Yeah.
And so like he drives off, like Batman drives off as we get kind of back around to what we started the story with. Of him talking to his dad, or like, you know, him remembering that conversation.
Yeah.
And he tells him, this is his dad talking to Bruce. You did a lot of cool, or I'm sorry, Bruce talking to his dad. You did a lot of cool stuff when you were younger, Dad. And he's like, I don't know about that. And Bruce goes, oh, you made a difference. You did something.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that too. I'm going to be just like you. And what you see is they're looking at the picture, a young Bruce. That's the same picture as Father Peters had. That's Thomas Wayne.
Those two next to each other.
And the pastor together. Yeah. And Bruce tells him, I just have to figure out how. And Thomas says, well, he goes, he's looking at, I did all that cool stuff like before the mustache. We barely knew what we were doing then, but I guess I rarely know what I'm doing now. And he goes, but I do know your nature, Bruce. I know who you are deep down. You have a strong and compassionate heart, and all you have to do is be yourself, no matter what you do. But I do love, like, Bruce having that thought and just staring at all the blood on his hands.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And he goes, and it ends with the line, I will always be proud of you. As Batman is kind of like curled up.
Yeah.
Just having to deal with everything that just happened.
Yeah, he's internalizing all of it. Yeah. By the way, the years for the priest have been very kind to him because he looks about the same in the picture as well as next to a grown-up Batman.
Yeah. So I thought that was obviously like it's taking a toll on him too. Like, even his way. I don't know. I love.
This is a very different, brooding Batman. It is. Yeah.
Since we are talking about how much I love Daniel Warren Johnson, I just want it to continue, and I just want it to make sure that I cried even more.
Werner's wagon of wieners.
It is. We've talked about Superman Red and Blue before.
Yeah.
It was I always want to call it, it's an anthology, right? Where it's a collection of different stories. They had actually a 2025 special, I think, come out. This one's from 2021, though.
Not the same artist?
Well, they had different ones for like all the different stories. Okay. It was a different creative team for each one, but no, we are dealing with Daniel Warren Johnson again.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is Daniel Warren Johnson, who, again, with all this too, Mike.
Yeah.
It's all by hand.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I absolutely love that. I also love the fact that he's like drawing it and, you know, writing it all himself. Like he's the whole. He's been on a tear here lately of just great stuff. So I'll close it out with this one. And, you know, since you haven't seen me get teary-eyed enough.
Sure.
But his Superman story, because
what they don't realize is I make you chop onions throughout the entire story. Yeah.
But the thing about Daniel Warren Johnson that I love is it does this to me no matter which one of his stories I read.
Yeah.
He's just so good.
Yeah.
And like connecting with no matter what it is.
Like he's a very talented dude, but it seems like he's story first.
Very much. Well, that's something that I don't know. We keep coming back to pacing and everything. I found very interesting. He talks about, then I think with most of his work, after he gets it back colored, because like he, draws it and stuff, and he sends it. I think Mike, I didn't give the other credits I should. Mike Spicer, I'm pretty sure, was the colorer on
Okay.
the last issue, who did a phenomenal job with all the coloring on there. Then, like the tones, it makes it all pop even more.
Right.
But he says, Daniel Warren Johnson talks about like when he gets it back from the colorer, he'll go through and cut out about 20% of the dialogue that he has then, because he's like, I get back and I get to see it and I realize, oh, I can show him, I can tell him less, I can show him more.
Yeah,
he
but
goes
without that, he probably wouldn't get the same drawings.
That's true.
The same coloring. He probably wouldn't get all that.
But I don't know, it probably helps get it out. But then I think it adds to the story of where he's able to let the art do some more of the talking then too.
Right.
So Superman Red and Blue from 2021, Daniel Warren Johnson. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Is our writer, artist, and letterer. Like he did it all on this one. But it's Jonathan Kent at a church.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's a very big church for Smallville. But as the pastor goes to him, is like, good to see you. And Jonathan's like, hey, Father, sorry, I haven't been here in a while. And he's like, oh, come in. It's I imagine with how much the adoption's going on, everything, it's got to take a lot out of you. And he goes, congratulations on the new baby, by the way. Fatherhood is something. How's it treating you? And he goes, well, like Jonathan Kent's a little like hesitant, and the father's like, come sit down. There's a reason why, obviously.
He looks like the Jonathan Kent from the movie, kind of.
He kind of does.
Yeah.
And so as he sits him down and he tells him, he's like, well, how can I say this? He's like, I've been around a while and I thought, man, like I knew everything. But there's one thing, or he goes to the father, that being a father has taught me early on, is that essentially like, I really don't know nearly as much as I thought I did. And the pastor kind of tells him, he's like, uncharted territory for sure. And he goes, yeah, you have no idea. And he goes, and also like Jonathan keeps talking, like when I look at when I look into my son's eyes, like I see a fear in me that I didn't know I had. Like, how can I be responsible for this little guy when I feel so lost?
Yeah.
He goes like, I don't know like anything about the world. I'm just some old timer in a small town. What do I have to give?
Sure.
And the pastor sits there and talks to him. He's like, do you know the story about when he tells him when our Savior was baptized? He's talking about Jesus, obviously. And he goes, it's been a while. Huh?
Who's that?
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah.
I misheard you.
And he tells him, it's been a while. Like maybe you could, help me out a little bit, Father.
Yeah.
And so he tells him that like, after it all had happened, it goes, when Jesus emerged from the water, where God addressed him from heaven. And Jonathan goes, and what did he say? He goes, this is my son, who I love, and who makes me proud. He goes, I think that if you make sure that your boy knows that, how you feel, that the rest will kind of like fall into place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, like, Jonathan thanks him, and he tells Jonathan to go in peace. And then for the next 5 pages, it's just the same 3 lines repeated of, you are special, I love you, I'm proud of you. And we get to see from young baby Clark Kent and Superman there, as he grows up with the Kents, I love you, I'm proud of you, you're special. He's helping him like with the car, helping grow stuff. Jonathan's putting him on the school bus. They're having dinner together. He's obviously helping him with something there, because he's like crying on the porch, showing him like having his powers, learning to fly, and him obviously smiling and being happy and proud there.
Right, sure.
And then Jonathan's death, which we know. And then Clark taking those same words and, using it on everybody else.
Right.
Saving the girl from the fiery building.
Yeah.
Hanging out with sick children. Hanging out with the homeless. And it's the same lines over and over again.
Sure.
Until it finally ends there at the end of him kind of looking at the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, and he actually dedicated it to his dad, Stephen Johnson. So
it's a very like savior type thing, though. I mean, and I understand that that's what they referred to and stuff, but it's a very savior-esque type story.
Yeah, well, I don't
Which, I
think.
mean, there's no way to look at Superman and not think of
Oh, it was
different
yeah.
religions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, a little bit. I mean, it wasn't absolutely a, but it's very much, kind of similar to it. I don't think I view it as, and I get how it is kind of like a savior sense here, but what I love
Sure.
about it more than else of it's, and one of the things, the part of Superman that I love that we kind of got in the movie too, is how like his little old farm parents from Smallville, Kansas, can affect him so much like that.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I don't know. I love that story so much. And
The ending of that Superman movie was fantastic in the way that they basically said, your family is what you make of it, and you can decide who is in your family and who's not.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can decide what message to listen to and whatnot. I think both you and I have gotten different messages throughout our life.
Yeah.
And we have to actively choose to either accept or reject those messages on a daily basis.
Yeah.
My mom has been real sick here lately, and she's in the hospital and stuff. And I'm feeling a little bit of renewed kinship with my dad, because we just don't talk that much and stuff. And we never have, though. She was always the glue,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think that her time, with us is coming to an end, and it's going to be just him, and so I keep thinking, even though you've given me these weird messages over the years, because but I also think I better make sure that this relationship is okay, because I don't know how much longer he's got left, and after she's gone, it's just me and him. So, I got to figure that out.
No, and that's the hard.
That's very apropos for what we just covered.
No, it very much is. It very much is. And like
that's
I think
not me being stupid. That's me actually being heartfelt. So,
no, I know.
So
and I
up yours. So there.
I totally get it. And I had that same, and I think that's kind of why some of this, like,
oh, sure.
And we haven't talked about it a lot, and we're just having a small little therapy session. I'll just add without getting to it. Like, I think that's some of it for mine too. Is like,
I feel like almost every day is a therapy session at this point.
Yeah. But like,
us,
my dad was gone before I ever had like any chance to kind of reconcile anything that happened. And so like, I think things like that, like what we covered, anything like that just hits me a lot harder. And obviously having a little guy myself, it just kind of, now it hits me a lot harder.
Well, it brings it all back up, and it also makes you want to do better.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Hey, did you know that we're a comic book podcast?
Are we?
No, I can't. I mean, this was heavier stuff with these issues, but there you go.
No, that's fun though. I mean, because this is great art, great writing, good messages. I mean, I don't know. I think if you really look at the comics that we've covered and the way that we've covered them, that is pretty much our byline. Good art, good story. Decent. I don't want to say morals, but it is kind of that.
Yeah.
The other show I do is King of the Hill based, and it always comes down to this moral at the end of the story, and it's always, kids and their parents and things like that. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a little sappy every once in a while.
No, not at all. We might get a little sappy on the next one. It'll just be,
oh my God.
Well, I'm not going to ruin it. Probably not. We're going to go some more crime and history. Okay. Like we're actually going to use real historic things that we're getting into. I'll go ahead and tell you, we're going to cover some Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips on the next issue, which is an all-star team, Mike. And I'll tell you more about that when we get to them, but you'll have to wait till later in the week as we dive into Pulp. So thank you guys as always for listening, for watching, for all the comments, for all the emails. We can't thank you all enough. Have some cool things that we're working on coming down the pipe for in the future or the future too. But as always, thank you guys for listening. Make sure to check out all the other great podcasts on the Rogue Media Network family of podcasts.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
Until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Golly Khan, everybody.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.